Hey guys, thanks for tuning back into Mad Dog Fishing. Well, today we're going to talk about redfish and shark rigs. Now, I use the exact same one for both, so when the sharks show up, I'm not losing all my gear, my weight, sinkers, and even then it still happens, especially if bluefish show up, and we'll talk about that a little bit later if we have time. But bluefish go after the little beads that we have set up on here, and they will bite your line. You'll just see your rod bend over and snap real quick. Sure sign of a bluefish, and they got teeth like a piranha and will cut your line just like that. But today we're going to talk about how I tie my shark rig slash redfish rig, and it's really simple. I keep it pretty simple because I usually have to tie it while I'm on the beach, windy conditions. So I took a lot of practice, but I've got it down to a pretty good science. I can tie up a shark rig in about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how bad I'm shaking. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go through each and every step while you watch me tie these knots with my shaking. My doctors have taken me off my tremors medicine, so I shake really bad right now. And until I get back on those meds and get back in the field and get back to fishing, we're just going to do things from at home, and we're going to do them as simple as possible so that you can, next time you're out, you know what kind of rig to set up. Now, we're going to start off with the FG knot. That's this knot right here. I don't know if you can see it, if I can get it. Anyway, we'll pull that knot out. Oops, there went my goggles, snorkel goggles, and my other tripod. Woo, we got a hook. We've got a hook. So, starting off, from your braided line to your shock leader, FG knot, very smooth, goes through the guides really well. Now how well you can see that, but let's turn this down a little bit. I can see it against the backdrop of my shirt. Followed by a 5 or 6 foot shock leader. This is 90-pound leader material. Now you can crimp it or you can tie it. I did crimp this one, but you can tie it using an FG knot. Not an FG knot, uni knot. And I use a uni knot for just about everything when it comes to tying. And actually that's what I got on the other end, is a uni knot. Very simple to tie. Followed by about 12 inches more of monofilament with my clip swivel and beads. And the reason I do that is when I'm casting really heavy baits, or I have a really big pyramid sinker on here, it keeps it from riding up the line. Now I call this a fish finder rig, but it's more of a modified fish finder rig because of that. And then from there, another barrel swivel and my wire bite leader. Now, my bite leader that I use is American fishing wire. It's a SureFlow, and I'll show you a picture of it in just a minute. I use 90. I have gone as high as 135 pounds, but mostly what I catch from the beach are smaller black tips, you know, under 100 pounds, spinner sharks, fine tooth sharks, and bull sharks. Now we have landed some 200 plus pound bull sharks on this exact same setup, but we've also lost just as many. So put y'all on pause a minute, and I'm gonna go get the material that we need. We're gonna go over each and every one of them, so just hold tight. All right guys, made it back. Thanks for being patient. So let's go over some of the tools and materials you're going to need. You're going to need a pair of crimping pliers. I've had these for a really long time. They've seen a lot of salt water, a lot of sand. They've crimped a lot of crimps. I like using my pliers for cutting my monofilament because it cuts it clean. It doesn't leave it burred at the end. And of course, some wire cutters. Now these will cut the wire, but I prefer the wire cutters. Now as far as tools, that's all you're gonna need. Maybe a knife if you don't have any cutters. As far as material, you're gonna need some leader material, not monofilament, but actual leader material. The reason why it's a harder material, and even if you're trying to break an international gaming fish, your main line is the important one that needs to be tested, not your leader if it's under so many inches. But we use this 90-pound leader material we use for a shock leader, followed by the American wire, fishing wire that I was telling you about. This is black in a 90-pound test, and I have never had a shark bite through it. I take it back. I did have one bite through it last year, but it's a good thing because we couldn't slow it down. Then you're going to need some crimps. Now, I get these at Walmart. These are 1 millimeter double barrel crimps. Now, they will fit up to 90-pound monofilament and up to 135 pounds in wire leader. Now, that's multi-strand. If you go with single strand, you don't need a crimp. You just need to know how to do a haywire twist. And then followed by your hook of choice. Mine is the Gamakatsu Octopussy circle hook, but I do have some 10-aught owner hooks. And these are just circle hooks. These are when I know there's nothing going to be there but sharks. And of course, you need your glass beads. I never leave home without them. That's a red one. So just need some glass beads. And of course, you're going to need several barrel swivels, and you're going to need a barrel clip swivel to hook your pyramid weight on. Now, like I said, I rigged this up just like a fish finder rig. I'll put an illustration at the end of the video so you can look at it. I do modify mine a little bit so that my weight doesn't ride up my line when I'm making really hard casts. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. If you got any questions, leave a comment in the section below. I use this setup for mainly really large mullet and blue crab. Now, this setup, or set up on some of my more heavy-duty rods, I can cast up to, 6 ounces of pyramid weight and 4 to 5 ounces of mullet or crab. I normally get the big blue crab. I cut those in half, and these hooks work just fine. And then when it comes to the mullet or big bunkers, perfect setup. So anyway, guys, if you got any questions, leave a comment section below. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Until I get released from the doctor, we're going to be doing a couple of home videos. I think my next video coming up, we're going to be putting the my personal favorite surf rods, which are 12-foot rods. I'm going to put 2 of them to the test back to back. I was going to do a 3rd one, and we'll talk about this in the next upcoming video, but we're just going to do 2 12-foot surf rods. We're going to compare them side by side, which one is my favorite. So, and everybody's different. A lot of people like 10-foot surf rods. I prefer 12-foot for whatever reason, and that's what we're going to go with. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the water.